the number one draft pick, his
Yep.
name is Victor Wembanyama.
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 Yes.
It begins with a Z, right? I thought it began with a Z.
Mm-mm.
W?
Yeah.
Wembanyama.
Yep.
So I saw that he was number one, and he's out of
He's out of France.
France. That's right. Just like Tony Parker was.
Like Tony Parker. And actually, what's cool is I heard a story. I was watching Summer League game. Tony Parker's brother, I forget his name. Tony Parker's brother coached Victor in France.
Oh, sweet.
So they all had a good following
That
in
helps.
general. Parker knew this kid. He's 19.
Yeah.
In the league, he's a kid.
I saw that he played in that Summer League game yesterday, and that he
Yes.
showed flashes
Yes.
of why he was number one overall.
Yes. His first game out, I watched it and I was hyped up like everybody. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is awesome. Let's go." It was a little. I hesitate to say dud. He's an NBA player. He's not a dud.
Yeah.
But for as much hype as he got on his very first outing, I was like, what is
Yeah.
this? He had a lot of blocks. I would say he had 5 to 7 blocks.
Yep.
Which is very promising. I would expect that from a 7'5" guy.
Yeah.
Right. He had some pretty good passes. He read the game well.
Yep.
But then he wasn't very aggressive in the paint.
Yep.
You know, that kind of thing. His playmaking at the rim was a little lackluster.
Yep.
But then this last outing, he was 26 points.
Yeah, see, that's
He did a double-double, 26 points and 10 rebounds.
I think that's amazing. I think it's embarrassing how lucky the Spurs have gotten in our lifetime with draft picks.
Yes.
Right. So, like, if you go back to obviously Tony Parker, we mentioned him.
Yep.
But also even I'm going to get his name wrong. Ginobili.
Manu
Ginobili, and then also obviously David Robinson.
Yep.
And I'm missing one.
Duncan.
Oh yeah, God, Duncan. So
It's okay. You're not a Spurs fan per se.
I'm not. I mean, I do like the sport of basketball.
Sure.
And obviously, if I was thinking about it and had them in front of me, I could probably rattle off the names much easier, just the faces. But like, they have an embarrassment of riches on draft picks, considering how good they are all the time.
Well, that was all GM. That was all Buford. Buford and Popovich.
Yeah.
Those two were like this, right?
But if you take a team that stinks all the time,
Yeah.
and you look there that are always in the lottery,
Yeah.
and look at their draft picks,
Sure.
they're not getting these type of picks over and over and over again. But they have another guy they can build a franchise around and end up with multiple championships.
Yeah.
You know, it's
And
pretty
they
incredible.
actually talked about that in the summer league game. So I forget when Robinson was drafted, 80 something.
Yeah.
And when he was in his latter part of his career was when Duncan came into the
Yes.
fold, right? So that was 99.
Yes.
Or no, excuse me, 97, I think.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
97. So then Duncan's in. So then you have the Twin Towers for a little while.
Yes.
That's what they called them. And so Robinson leaves. Duncan gets Robinson his ring. Well, I say that. That's not fair. Robinson got his ring. Duncan got 5.
Yep.
Right? With Parker, Ginobili, all these cool, awesome cast
Yep.
of characters around them. So then you've got foreign players. So then the Spurs are kind of at least to me, one of the real teams that explore the foreign market heavily.
Yeah.
Heavily. Because
Yeah.
we've had a lot of players from France, from Spain,
Yeah.
Argentina, right? Other parts of the world, and they don't just stay in this niche USA market.
Right.
They expand because they know basketball's big overseas.
Right. Oh yeah, it's huge.
So we've really explored that, and then with this new kid coming out, he was the top prospect for the longest time. Not only his height, but man, Chris, he plays like a point guard.
Yeah.
You should see this guy is 7'4",
So
and he's doing between the legs, behind the.
You know what I worry
back
about?
passes.
I worry about a Zion or a Greg Oden type thing, right? So like these
I do too.
huge guys.
But he's kind of a stick.
Yeah, I know.
He looks kind of goofy, but he's kind of.
So was it Greg Oden kind of a stick?
Yeah, but
I just worry about these huge guys. They seem to sometimes break down. you
But
know?
I feel like with this kid, he's got a very similar build. He's a little taller, but he's got a very, very similar build to Kevin Durant.
Okay.
Kevin Durant's not large.
right. No, he's
You know,
not. He's not. Yeah.
And even in his draft days, they were kind of bashing on him.
Oh, he was a twig. Then.
Yeah, because he couldn't bench. What was like 135 x amount of times, right?
Yeah, which is, I mean, he's done all right.
But yeah,
He's
of course.
done all right.
So that's the thing is, they're saying.
I mean, I do wish he would quit jumping and bailing and trying to find another winner. Like I just, but
That's the
as
game
far as
now.
his play,
And I agree. I wish that there was a way to stop this.
as far as his play, yeah, Kevin Durant's obviously amazing, but
of course.
it's disheartening to see him continually like, well, the Golden State's not good enough. Now I got to move over to Brooklyn. Well,
Right.
Brooklyn's not good enough. Now I got to go.
Now I got to go
Oh,
to the Celtics, or I got to
just
go to the.
cut it out.
Agreed.
Just it's enough.
Agreed. I think that there've been talks with Adam Silver about that very issue.
Well, I know they probably have, but like, I also don't want power going away from the players. Like, I'm
Right.
weird because
And that's a weird
I know.
line to balance.
I know. So in a way, I like what they've done, and in a way, I don't.
Right.
You know, I just don't. I don't like what it's done to the game.
The freedom of the players takes away from the fun of the fans.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Certainly, the idea of rooting for your home team when a guy just I'm tired of it here and I'm done.
Right.
Meanwhile, the Golden State Warriors were still towards the top of the league. Like now, obviously, whenever they had injuries going into that next season. The season where Kevin Durant left and had to sit an entire season for Brooklyn without even getting to play.
Right. Because of the injury. Yep.
Right. But see,
But
Golden State was still stacked,
They were.
ready to go after he came back. Like all he had to do was wait it out.
Right.
He just couldn't do that. He
No.
just I have to bail now.
Yeah. Yep.
I
I
don't
get it. And it's hard to watch sometimes, but
Yeah.
I don't really.
And that's
know
after
what the
joining
answer
them.
would
After joining them, after being on the after being with Oklahoma
Yeah.
and being up 3-1 on the and
Yeah.
then going like, oh my goodness, stop it,
Yeah.
just stop.
Yeah.
Because Oklahoma had Harden,
Yeah.
Durant, and Russell Westbrook all at one time.
Yeah.
Now they were all a little bit more or less mature than they became, right? But can you imagine if they all three matured together?
Yeah. And it's hard for me to. Of course, I'm not a multi-million-dollar athlete.
That's right.
It's hard
Yeah.
for me.
Are
to,
you not?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm surprised you
Oh,
didn't know
yes.
this.
Yeah, I should have. We did discuss that we were friends. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it's one of those things that in my mind, like how do you what's going on? What's their mindset when they're jumping ship so early? You're already a high level elite player.
Yep.
You're already multi-million-dollar paid.
Yep.
You've already won championships.
Yep.
What are you gaining
I
other
don't
than
know.
maybe just staying in the headlines? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's odd to me.
Like with him, it's almost like he needs to be worshipped, as much as anyone else. So like, if it's LeBron that's getting more headlines, or if it's Steph Curry that's getting more headlines, or whatever, he needs the most headlines.
Right. And
But
that's kind of where
meanwhile,
my mindset's
if
at.
the headline goes negative at all, he gets really whiny, and so does LeBron.
Yeah.
LeBron does too.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he doesn't, but come on, man. If you're going to get all the positive headlines, you're
Yeah.
also going to get negative
Yeah.
ones. LeBron needs to learn that too.
Yeah.
If you're going to get, because he gets a lot of accolades, and he deserves them.
Mhm.
LeBron James deserves them, but you're going to get negatives.
Yep.
If you're going to have people say that you compete for greatest of all time, and he
Yep.
gets people that say that,
Yep.
then you're going to have people also point out that you're not the greatest of all time,
Right.
that you're just close. Okay, that's fair.
It is fair.
It's
Absolutely.
fair. You're close. By the way, you're one of a very select few people who are close to the greatest of all
I
time.
would say 3
Yeah.
people.
I
Five
think so.
tops?
For me, he's number 2
Okay.
of all time.
Yes.
That's for me.
You and I feel like we're on the same page on
Yeah,
this.
I think so. For me, he's number 2.
Yep.
Okay, so there's only one person in the history of the world.
And it's the much debated topic.
That's right.
Everybody debates this.
There are people that think you're better, although it's only a few.
Yep.
Most people think Michael's better.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Look, dude, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
If I could be considered the second greatest at anything,
Yeah.
especially something as lucrative as basketball,
Yeah.
I feel like
It's a big.
I feel like I'd be okay. I feel like
Right.
I'd be all right with it.
And that's the other thing is Chris Carter or Jerry Rice.
But you know what?
Right. So it's like-
Whereas I say I would be okay with it, maybe I wouldn't.
but not as a professional athlete, right? You got to put your mind. You got to
Because
put your mind in their psyche, in their mindset.
if I was okay with it, would I actually be good enough to be that good? Because is it the drive to be number 1 that made him good enough to be number 2? And I think that's probably true.
That is true.
Yeah.
But in their mind, it's not good enough to be number 2.
That's what I'm saying.
And
That's what I'm saying.
yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
So you can't be number 2 unless your drive
Yes.
makes you. I have to be number 1,
Yes.
and so that's why calling him number 2 pisses him off so much, right?
Yes.
So it's this weird dichotomy, and you can't get out of it.
Agreed.
Yeah.